We've traversed the tombs of Naxxramas. We've climbed every cliff on Black Rock. Now the world cries out for heroes. As a new evil rises, there will be danger. There will be doom. There will be ancient temples filled with relics, treasures, and traps. Who will answer the call?
Lead, explorers lead, and we are in need of explorers. Adventure we seek, cross land and sea. Born to come and join us.
Oh, yes!
Welcome back, everyone, to the SLI League Star Series tournament. We're onwards to the fourth match of the last chance qualifier bracket. We've already had 3 matches today. We're onwards to Trump versus StrifeCro. Whoever wins that one will be facing off against Cypher, who just beat Tice. And then whoever wins the final, I guess the mini-finals, as we'll call them, will be going to the LAN finals in Minsk early next year in January. So, yep, should be pretty cool.
Should be pretty cool indeed. Now, Trump is the only player who we haven't seen anything of today. We have had 3 matches so far. We have seen a few things from StrifeCro, and the good things that we've seen has led him to advance to the stage in the tournament. Trump, however, is bringing Paladin, Shaman, and Warlock. So a bit more like standard strong decks. I mean, we talked about how Paladin's been dominant for a long time. We see Trump bringing Paladin. We talked about how Shaman should be performing pretty well, and kind of is. I think it's maybe underperforming a little bit, but I think the Shaman players have been pretty unlucky, especially Tice not able to secure a win with his Shaman deck, drawing double Doomhammer both of those times. And Warlock has been doing okay as well. It's also a pretty popular class. So we haven't seen a lot of similar classes, but it's kind of been working out still. I think the most popular class in this Redemption tournament is the Druid, though, and Trump is not bringing the Druid.
Yeah, I think the only difference between his lineup and that of his opponent is that Trump picked the Shaman, and Cypher has Druid. So apparently Cypher is going more the typical route, I guess, with the Paladin, Druid, Warlock, which seem to be kind of the power classes at the moment, people would say. And so it's a very safe lineup, but it's one that seems to work for him. And I haven't seen anything crazy out of his decks, aside from a Senjin in the Reno Warlock, which, although it seems like it's a very mild difference, it means that he teched the deck heavily against aggro.
Mm-hmm. I also like to take a look at all the other factors. We did see StrifeCro, like he literally just woke up on his opening game earlier. But Trump's looking pretty sharp, and that's pretty impressive for me, considering it's not even noon over there. Both players coming from the west coast of the U.S. Trump doesn't strike me for the morning person, but he's looking all right.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's all right with that. He probably has a schedule that he has to wake up just to do stuff on the computer before he actually starts streaming. So he's probably up a lot earlier than you might think. So StrifeCro, again, typical StrifeCro, pajamas style all day, every day, morning to basically bedtime. No difference, same clothing.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I also just realized is StrifeCro, I believe, is the only player to bring Priest in the entire Redemption tournament. And his Priest deck seemed very dominant, at least in the opening round.
Yeah, it absolutely. Well, the thing is, it was the first match, and it crushed the Druid from his opponent. So it was like it was a very one-sided matchup against Kranich, I feel, and we'll have to see whether or not it's able to pull off something similar, because the lineup the Trump has may not let him do as much. But if it's a secret pally, StrifeCro's deck seems favored. Shaman might be difficult, but we saw StrifeCro with a Holy Fire, which also means that Trump has to find more damage. And the Warlock from Trump, depending on what it is, could also be a losing deck against Priest, depending on how things line up. I think if it's Malilock, could be kind of fun to see.
You have mentioned that. I mean, have you seen him play Malagos Lock successfully recently? Think it's going to work?
Successfully, no, unfortunately. But I have seen him play it, but just not with the success that you might expect from a deck that you'll bring to the next tourney. I mean, I guess what happened, I think, after DreamHack is that Purple ended up sweeping very, very effectively with Malilock. And then everybody was like, oh yeah, like I totally wanted to play that deck, and then they just decide to bring it to every other event afterwards to prove a point and not look like they're contradicting themselves. And now they're all realizing, well, no, I can't play that. It's not good. And so now they're going back to what they
Yeah,
actually know.
it seems like all the Malagos decks are very exciting to see play, but they're all very short-lived. Like it's so good and then it's terrible. Like nobody's
Yeah,
playing it suddenly. So
it's true, isn't it?
yeah, like right as the hype builds up to a point where you start to be excited that you might have some expectation to see the deck, it's nowhere to be seen. But hopefully this time there will be an exception to that rule, and maybe we'll have some Malagooses today.
Yeah, I mean, I think the day that Malagos decks will be, super solid and that you'll see them in tournaments consistently is when Priest gets a Malagos deck because they have Velen as a double, kind of like a double up on the Malagos. So like a Dragon Priest, not now, right? Like just think very far away in the future. When you see a Malagos deck be brought, consistently and just about every time, I think it would have to be something like Priest.
All right. Well, we'll have to see. Those days are probably a bit far away, and probably
It's
involve
vacuum
some
time.
dragons coming into the game. I don't even know if that'll happen. Really, it seems like Blizzard's introduced a lot of very powerful dragons in the last few expansions, enough to the point where several classes are trying out dragon lists, and I think that's kind of the point where you stop introducing good tribal
Yeah, that's
cards.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got a point. What I'd like to see though in the game, I think, is more anti-tribe tech. As weird as it sounds, I mean, I don't want to discourage Murloc play because I think it's pretty awesome. But it would be nice to have something that kills just a tribal minion, whether it's a dragon, a Murloc, a totem, like a Manatide early, a beast, like anything, right? Just a blanket tribe removal would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also looking forward to just big board clears in general.
Yeah, I know.
Like Twisting Nether is such an exciting card in the last Tavern Brawl, where a lot of people played Warlock and got a chance to play 3 mana Twisting Nethers. It was just so cool to just reset the game like constantly, and I was kind of hoping that we'd see a little bit of that in Cypher's games because he is playing Twisting Nether in his Reno Warlock, but didn't quite get an opportunity to play the card. But that opportunity might yet come up as he will be playing against the winner of this matchup.
Yeah, really. The thing is, we don't know anything about Trump's decks. We have to assume it's aggro Shaman. I've seen him play that. He ended up facing off, I think, against Sixo recently in the Insomnia, or against somebody else, and his deck contrasted with that from Sixo because I think Trump was not running Elemental Destruction, and I suspect he will have added them at this point.
Yeah, Elemental Destruction, I mean, every time it was played, the Shaman lost.
Yeah,
So it hasn't correlated well with the results. But
Right.
it seems like a card that would work. And I like the inclusion. I mostly just like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the card would be so good if it didn't have that Lightning Storm thing with the damage may or may not be good. I wish it was just, like, with the amount of overload you're paying, I wish the damage was consistent, and you didn't have to hope and roll dice on it. But, I mean, that's just Shamans in a nutshell.
Yeah. It's mostly like a morale thing, too.
Right.
I mean, a lot of, at least the recent Overload cards, they are just strictly good, even in the bad outcome. Like if you take a look at like Fireguard Destroyer, Elemental Destruction, sure. A lot of these cards are good, even if you get the unlucky side of the coin. But it's just like for me personally, it just feels bad to play these cards. Because even in the bad outcome, where it's still a good card, it just doesn't feel good. It's like, damn,
I could have, yeah.
I think I have 8 other classes I could be playing,
Yeah, I could be doing consistent stuff with Tempo Mage, but here I am trying out this like mech shaman and rolling 3s on Crackle when it's necessary that I roll 4, 5, or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just that little inconsistency that really hurts.
It's probably why the class is so underrepresented on ladder. Like, usually when people talk about a deck being like tier 1 or the best deck, which this Shaman deck has gained that notoriety, but I've played against like 2 of them on ladder this week. Total. Not like
That's it?
yesterday. Yeah, that's it. I'm just not seeing the deck.
They're all rank 1 legend to like rank 50. So
yeah,
that's why
they must be. They must be, because I'm
there's
not
like
finding
50 of them on ladder, all at the top, and no one else
Yeah.
is playing that thing. Yeah.
But I think it's just that. I think that the Shaman is just not as fun of a class to play as the others, because there's so many moments where it just doesn't feel good to play it. And even though it is in a stage where it can be a good deck, which I think most people have agreed that it is right now, it's overrepresented in tournaments compared to ladder.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny about Shaman, like what makes the entire League of Explorers release so hilarious to me is the fact that, you know, when we saw Finley, the first thing everybody thought was, finally, Shaman doesn't get stuck with that crappy hero power. Like, when they had just tried to release so many totem synergy cards, it's like everybody's finally happy we don't do totems. It's like, yeah, this is the worst thing about the class. Can we please get it off the board? So that really, like, it saddens me in a weird way that we're so eager to get rid of that hero power. I mean, we had Charge Hammer, but it was too slow to override the hero power. Otherwise, we would have played it. Like, give me a 2-attack, like a 2-weapon, like a 2-mana 1/4 weapon with that Death Rattle, and I'm going to play it and override it on the following turn with Power Mace and get a new hero power, and I'll be happy. But don't let me sit there with random totems. Just don't.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of complications with the class. On the other hand, we have seen, I guess, some recent success in the World Championship with like a more control-y Shaman, but still, it was pretty short-lived.
Yeah, it's like that Malagos craze, right? It's always like the hype lives on for about
That's not
a
right.
short moment. That's not right. I think Trump took the basic deck. What happened here? I have no idea. He seemed surprised as well.
Yeah.
He was ready for action, at least. You know, there's that. Much.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's just a tech choice, you know.
Like Hungry Crab level.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are playing 1-mana 2/1s to try to get on the board early, and you know they keep killing knife jugglers. So Trump was saying, no more. You know, I'm not having.
I will not have any more of these leprinomes on my board.
Yeah.
I think it's disturbing that Trump has a. Well, whatever it is in the background there that scares me. I'm not sure what it is, but it is his face on the wall. I think he missed out on the opportunity to wear his Trump shirt just to triple the value. But
I believe the wall poster predates the Trump shirt.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I'm creeped out.
But I do agree that it is a little bit scary. A little bit.
I mean, I think this is the intimidation factor. It's like, if StrifeCro snipes me, he will not do it again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only one player per account for these tournaments. I'm pretty sure I see 2 players there on the right side.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right, well...
Wow.
I think Trump may have skewed with the wrong deck. Okay.
Okay, Trump, what are you doing today? Trump.
Now,
Trump, we know you're trying to prove a point, and Inertron and Sludge Belcher are very good cards.
Yeah.
But stop this.
I don't think that counts. I think they're still testing to make sure that everything is working as normal, and clearly it is not. So maybe things will begin working normally soon.
I mean, it's a shot in the dark, right? It's like, will spectator mode glitch this game or not? You just take a chance, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Just queue up, Trump.
All right, well, we're taking another chance here. It looks like it's going to be Trump on Paladin again, but this is probably the Paladin deck that he meant to play versus StrifeCro's Demon Handlock. Now, Trump, at least from what we can see, is playing at the very least a mid-range Paladin. I know that the Control Paladin was one of the best counters to the regular Handlock, and I think that is what we can probably expect out of this. The Keeper of Uldamans, I don't think you drop all their Peacekeepers. If you're running both of those cards, you might have more answers than the Demon Lock has minions.
Yeah, I think if you're expecting Handlock out of any opponents, which I think at this stage Trump may have built his lineup based on what he expected, then Keeper of Uldamon is at least, like against aggro, a way to buffer up your 1/1s, and against control, like Handlock, a really good way to neutralize those big drops. I think you don't even have to run silences if you're stacking Aldors with the keepers. It's pretty heavy on the control side. All right. Sorry, I had a little bit of a technical issue. I disappeared for a moment.
They never know we're even here. Our commentary just blends into the game by itself, you know?
Yeah.
All right, well, the main factor here, I think, is going to be Jiraxis. StrifeCro has to realize as soon as possible that he's playing against, at the very least, a mid-range Paladin. And when that realization is made, I think he's going to have to try to find a way to clear the board and play Jiraxis as soon as possible, because that's really the only way you win this matchup. Your threats, you just don't have enough big minions to win the game, especially now with Keeper of Uldaman being a factor.
I mean, I feel like you can't, like, at this point, if you're StrifeCro, you assume it's got to be mid-range Pally, but we have seen some weird secret Pally lists that just curve with everything perfectly, right? They just go,
oh yeah, no,
Zombie Chows.
I don't even think that's very weird. I think a few weeks ago that was the standard. I think you just ran Zombie Chow in Secret Paladin.
Pretty much. Like, the only top curve card that we were missing was Fellreaver, where people still played Belcher, which made sense because of Redemption. So StrifeCro, knowing Trump, he seems a little confused right now. Like, I saw StrifeCro hesitate for a second, and he still doesn't have a clue after the Shredder what this is, I think.
Right. The Peacekeeper is actually a telling card. Peacekeeper is not very good in Secret Paladin because a lot of your minions have 1 health and Divine Shield. So Peacekeeping a high attack minion doesn't really accomplish very much. But Sylvanas is also pretty revealing. The other cards are included in a lot of Secret Paladin lists, however.
Yeah, I mean, even Aldor, right? Like, there was, like, a week ago, I think, even 2 weeks ago, like, it was seen in Secret Pally. Just because of the tempo it gives, it's kind of an additional cog hammer you're running in that deck. And all of a sudden, your tempo early game snowballs crazily. But you don't necessarily have... we saw Cypher's list, which is very, very late on its curve. And you don't get to do that when you're going for Aldors. Like, typically, when you do it, it's a little bit more of an aggressive approach.
Well, the Shadow Boxer comes out of the Shredder, not too bad. Still not much information coming from Trump. There's actually some synergy on the board. The Zombie Chow dying might ping off a relevant point of damage.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, if there's a ping here... Okay,
another Zombie Chow, oh man.
That's a bit tricky. I mean, if you're Trump, do you ever Aldor? Or are you way too worried about a follow-up Giant, knowing that next turn would be when it comes out?
Yeah, 4 attack's not really that much, and you're probably going to play Sylvanas next turn. I think it's reasonable to just Cog Hammer. Yeah. Looks like that's the
I mean,
play.
you're guaranteed to get the kill, and maybe you get to squeeze in a bit more damage with your Zombie Chow. Is there ever an argument to not pop the shield to set up a Hellfire that you really don't mind necessarily? Like, you use the Zombie Chow to trade.
Yeah, and
Shadow Boxer deals 1 damage. You keep a 2/3 with Divine Shield. Is that better ever than keeping this? Or do you want to get that Hellfire out?
Perhaps in some situations, but you have to keep in mind that we already saw a Quartermaster from Trump. So I think you want to bait as many board clears as early as possible. Because one of the things that the Warlock kind of lacks is enough board clears a lot of the time. Especially the ones that have a lot of hybrid things. So like the Reno thing, it struggles on board clear so much it has to run Twisting Nether. The Demon Handlock, you're usually running 3 board clears maximum. So I think it's all good.
I mean, it's interesting, though, that Warlock can do... Like, that's the reason I think Warlock does so well as well with Reno, is because they have redundancy. They got so much of it, it's not even funny. But they still don't get the same mileage out of a Hellfire and a Demon Wrath, and so they're starting to have the spread into Twisting Nether. The thing is, when you know StrifeCro is running Handlock, which you do because you've already scouted,
Yeah.
your game plan has to accommodate for that. And right now, if Trump runs into some kind of AoE, I don't think he's going to like it very much. But he would have seen it, right?
Yeah. And if you're StrifeCro here, you see Sylvanas, you know there's a zombie chow, you're starting to understand the bigger picture here. You kind of understand that you're playing against something that's not a secret paladin. So one of the main differences is the inclusion of equality between those two. So if you do want to play like big minions here, you know that is a really big risk.
He goes for the life tap. So is that going to be a Molten turn, a Healbot turn? I don't mind Healbot necessarily because if Sylvanas wants to get a trade going, then it's going to die to the Giant. The issue with that is if you Healbot now, then you're also not getting that Molten tempo turn. So you get a little touchy. I mean, without any AoE, I think StrifeCro just doesn't like his prospects.
Yeah. The thing is, StrifeCro just doesn't like that Sylvanas. And Sylvanas poses so many problems.
So Trump... Alright, Trump can't guarantee, I don't think. He can't guarantee the Giant. And I think that's what StrifeCro is trying to do. He says, alright, you want to get that, Ancient Watcher off the board with your minions, that's fine. But then Sylvanas has to smash the Giant. Maybe get it, maybe not. And it's not worth it to still an 8-1 necessarily. So Trump may opt for something else. But the thing is, you really don't want to throw away Sylvanas' value at all.
Doesn't seem like much of a throwaway. I think you actually just clear the board and leave the Mountain Giant up.
I mean, you could go for the Juggler or Muster if you really wanted. I think that may be... Or even Juggler, Zombie Chow, Hero Power, Juggler, Aldor. Like, all those plays are good. You've seen there's no AoE. So to be consistent with the line of play you've taken so far, which is be very aggressive, you just shove everything. But, I mean, the Warlock's healing up.
Alright, well, the shoving has begun. That is another thing. Demon Handlock often doesn't run 2 silences because it's just a very packed deck. I think typically we see 1 owl rather than a 2 from a regular Handlock. So the peacekeeping effect is harder to deal with because of that.
Yeah, it's a really tricky one though. For like StrifeCro, he's got a decent turn. He knows there's not that much burst in the Paladin deck. But he's still unable to stem the bleeding too much.
Oh, what a card.
Never mind. Perfect card here for StrifeCro. He's 1 health off of getting the
perfect.
Giant out.
Yeah, it's almost perfect.
Oh, so close to perfect. If you tap, you're still...
If he had that before the coil, it would have actually been completely perfect. I guess you just tap first and probably commit to Jiraxxus.
On the following turn, yeah, I like that. I really like the tap into Hellfire, into Jiraxxus. Oh, goodness. All right. Might as well get that free Infernal while you can. And that Sylvanas is probably not stealing your Emperor.
No.
She might get a 1-3. What about that?
Yeah, that's not so great. Again, if you had another silence, it would be fine, but mid-range Paladin is also one of those decks that you want to fit in so many cards that you just can't. So I don't believe Trump has a second silence left in the deck.
This is... I mean, Trump has to think, is it worth it to make trades? Because I'm not going to win. If I play, like, my hand is not a winning hand unless I start top decking big threats. Do you think Trump is running something like maybe Arc Thief Rafam in that deck? Would it be a good fit based on the cards that we've seen so far?
I've seen very few good fits for that card. You just need to have a deck that's winning by so much in terms of the zoo game for the card to be worth it. I don't think mid-range Paladin is too great of a host for that card. All right, well, into Hellfire we go.
Oh, there was the owl that I think StrifeCro wanted a while back, but he does get to play
It's
Hellfire.
irrelevant, though.
His turn is so good here. It's not even...
Okay, well, he has Hellfire. He's left on 6 mana, and then he could tap Giant and then heal bot.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you could just go Defender if you don't want to heal bot. You might heal bot after Jiraxxus if things go poorly.
I wouldn't
Never
mind
mind.
that, but this is fine too. It just so happens that Trump doesn't really have much in the way of answers anymore.
Yeah, he's gonna have to start pushing with the weapon damage, I think. The fact that that's true is pretty saddening for Paladin. Like, the opponent's on 19 and you're pushing for lethal with weapon damage.
Yeah, in mid-range Pally,
Yeah.
nonetheless.
I mean, I guess
Zero
Quartermaster top
burst.
deck is pretty sick, right? Like, Quartermaster is pretty solid. And if StrifeCro gets really greedy, then maybe he just smorks you and doesn't
Zombie
taunt
Chow.
you.
Things are not looking good for Trump at all.
Yeah, not one bit.
Very high desperation plays here. Of course, he has to make them, so you can't blame any of it, but... yeah. Well, Jiraxxus can come down. It's a pretty good Jiraxxus, and again, I think Jiraxxus is the card that single-handedly wins the game for the Demon Handlock here.
The
Looks
thing
like
is, he
Spectre
may
wants
want to
delay just a
extract
little
the...
bit.
Yeah, he may want to extract the most value or the most health he can out of this Zombie Chow. And stay safe as well against Quartermaster, because if he goes for Jiraxxus, attacks the Zombie Chow, gets back to 15, then he, in order not to really be worried about Quartermaster, he has to use the heal bot and the Giant into the 1/1s.
Oh, just
Unless he wants to
heal
taunt up the
is
big
fine.
minions. So you haven't seen equality, right? So if Quartermaster hits after an equality, your board kind of goes down. You're worried about that, I think.
I think you're mostly worried about like multi-draw cards, like lay on hands, and then into combo equalities. But that's pretty unlikely at this stage.
Whoa, Trump with a flood pally. Oh well, he
Yeah,
will
it's not
scoop
really
this
happening
one.
here.
StrifeCro is going to take it. So even though Trump, we saw equality in the deck, Keeper of Voldemort, Aldors, he did have a decent start, but nothing to kill his opponent, right? Like no Quartermaster after a massive board was put down. No equality to clean out the Giant later on.
Yeah, it seemed like I think Trump had a slightly favorable matchup, but it didn't quite line up the way he wanted. A lot of the cards that he ended up drawing into were just like anti-aggro cards, and StrifeCro just had a very dominant mid game and a very dominant late game that Trump just didn't have enough answers to. Often it's the other case, though. Often it's the Warlock not drawing enough threats and the Paladin having tons of answers. So I think it just came down on the draws, and StrifeCro got the better side of that.
I mean, Trump did dodge AoE for a long time, right? Like there's at least that. The thing is, we're gonna see Trump play the deck again. I just don't think against Priest you're happy to be running that deck, because Priest, the list that StrifeCro is running is one that has probably 1 Light Bomb, 2 Novas, the Entombs, Cabal Shadow Priest, cards you really don't want to be running into. And if there's something like a Wild Pyro, Muster's really tricky to play.
It can be. Now, typically the priest struggles a lot against the pally, especially when both are playing mid range.
Does he?
But yeah, just because
Interesting.
the hero powers are difficult to handle. Just the 1/1s just absorb such a ridiculous amount of damage. But I think StrifeCro running the double Death Lords, unless those have catastrophic results, you should be fine. Deathlord is just like such a good wall against a lot of that early game nonsense. Like often
I
it's
think
early game
StrifeCro is very
aggression,
safe.
but Trump's side I think is just nonsense. Like it's just defensive. Early game
Yeah, it's a
cards.
very, very defensive deck. Like we see the BGH here from Trump. So he's trying to play Priest without being Priest, and Elise Starseeker in StrifeCro's hand is just
Okay.
adding up. the possible threats late game that the deck tends to lack. Honestly, that deck, like Priest Control, just doesn't have threats unless they steal them from you, and then they have dead cards like Circle of Healing late game without a knock and eye. They don't want to draw. Even Northshire can be risky in certain cases.
Yep. All right. Well, Trump really doesn't have a good hand at all here. StrifeCro goes for the Shrinkmeister. He makes a decision quickly. Very non-greedy play. I think in this matchup, whoever wins is going to win fairly late into the game. And saving your Shrinkmeister for a Cabal combo, which I'm pretty sure we saw that he has 2 of, makes quite a bit of sense. But again, doesn't go for the greedy play at all. Just clocks in as much tempo as possible.
Yeah, we saw him do that earlier, and it paid off. The Curator here, adding to Priest exactly what they needed. It's funny just how Northshire Cleric alone for draw wasn't enough, but now with the Curator, which was temporarily a Scarab in some people's lists while the card wasn't released yet, it's just you're getting so much value out of very little investment, and you know the game's gonna last long. It's so easy to just win mirror match controls with the Curator.
Yeah, good chance we'll see a heal here, though, as StrifeCro probably wants to protect his bigger minion for now.
With Consec, I guess. From Consec, that is.
From just random things, honestly. There's just so many answers in this deck. Okay.
Keeper Voldemort, at least, for Trump, is an option that's solid.
Yeah, it is actually pretty good, largely because you can attack the 3/4 with your weapon, then Keeper the dude, kill the zombie chow. You're only going to be at 1 health deficit. You'll be at 29 after the heal. And doing an initial attack on the Shrinkmeister means StrifeCro has to heal beforehand, so it can't be 2 HP out of range.
Yeah, and with the follow-up Coghammer, it also means that you're able to maybe deny something like a...
There it goes. That's
yeah,
the
perfect
play.
You're able to deny something like Great Holy Nova as a follow-up. So I think this game is kind of slow just because Trump doesn't put on aggression. He's playing kind of a priest game without being a priest. I'd give the long game to StrifeCro, though. Entomb is brutal.
Yeah. Alright, well, he goes with the Power Word Shield first. The Valens gets a much better host on the Deathlord. But I think it's still worth considering.
Absolutely, yeah. I'd say so. It's pretty hard to find like a 6 spot for it. Because you already have a billion answers to everything.
Well, my thought is that you could coin out a Museum Curator and heal.
So you get the card draw as early as possible.
Yeah.
I see that, yeah.
Oh, I guess that Shrinkmeister would be on 4 health then. 4 health does die to the board, so no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. If it had 5 health, I think that would have been the play.
Because you can kill it with a Coghammer. In this case.
Alright.
It dies a lot more easily if it's on 5 than 6. So Trump here, he's got to want to play the Shredder, but it's just a way to stall. If he plays the Belcher, he sacrifices it effectively. There's very little point to it. And there's a coin that could be used for
the
this
Peacekeeper
line.
is also pretty bad as well.
Yeah, I feel like StrifeCro is putting Trump in the most awkward spots these past games. And that may just be because Paladin is trying to be a reactive class.
It just is a reactive class.
Against a better reactive class, though.
Sure. Okay, this is a bit weird for me.
Yeah, he's gonna Coghammer, 100%.
You see.
Well, that does make StrifeCro wonder about something like a Quartermaster. It forces him to try to clear the board. That's at least something. But look at that.
Well,
He's just picked up a second Nova.
Yeah, he can definitely clear the board here. Is it worth it, though? Probably. I mean, if you see someone make a very, very weak play, punishing that in a non-greedy fashion usually gives you a very favorable follow-up turn or two. And I think StrifeCro can look forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make the argument that you want to play Elise, coin, heal, just so that the Elise is already out and you are putting down a 3/5, and you still have the Novas and the Light Bomb to deal with Quartermasters and whatnot. But you want to keep the Light Bomb for Dr. Boom if it comes out, right? I don't know. I feel like it could have been justified to play Elise and coin heal, but it would have been a little bit weaker and less proactive.
Now, in this case, the Alder Peacekeeper is quite fine. It looks like he's going to go for the Shredder Shielded mini bot, though.
Let me change your mind. Maybe you hero power instead? I don't know.
I think it's alright.
Okay.
Oh, okay. He does hero power instead. I find that quite
Yeah, without
unusual.
consecration, that thing scares me quite a bit.
Okay.
Alright, well, StrifeCro still again in a great spot and putting Trump on the back foot for the entire game.
Is there much to be done from Trump, really? He just has a lot of passive plays. And you're right, like, your assessment of situation, the Priest just has better passive plays. Kind of puts a pretty big problem for Trump.
Are we seeing a Nova number 2? We are. It will pop the Shredder thanks to the Valence chosen.
I think there's
on
there's
4
some
health,
chance.
that means True Silver comes out, right? Do you see Coin Heal? Or Curator?
I think the Curator's pretty good too, because if you do see True Silver, it's probably not that big of a deal.
He's maxing out the value this guy's giving him, though. But this is unreal. This Shrinkmeister has gone through an entire war on his own. And he's not about to leave either.
I think the best card that Trump could have drawn there is an Owl. Owl would have killed the Shrinkmeister, and he could Belcher in front.
And there we go. Trump's like, all right, we're done with that gnome. Just punch it. Punch it hard and really fast. Thought Steal from StrifeCro. That's a crazy card. Like, if we thought he couldn't already win with just Elise in the long game, and Entomb, and Curator, now there's Thought Steal on top.
Well, one thing that I've learned is you can never count on Elise to deliver. But
no, really? She always does for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, in Priest especially. It's like,
Okay.
I got nothing. But Golden Monkey.
Alright.
Light Bomb. No. Shrinkmeister hasn't said his last word. He's like, I'm gonna go down.
Yeah, he's still
Right.
slaying down Divine Shields and the rest.
Yeah. He's not dead this turn, I don't think. Yeah, he's not. Look at that. That is so exasperating. Poor Trump.
Oh, Belcher comes down. He gets another guy on the board. With 2 Holy Novas down, it does seem like quite the safe play.
He's just gonna Thought Steal Consecration. And
StrifeCro is playing 2 Shrinkmeisters, so he's got 2 Cabal combos. That's one of my favorite things when playing Priest. Just knowing that I have that and potentially can crush the soul of my opponent just makes me so happy.
Happy Feast of Wintervale, Druid of the Claw comes your way. And you're like, yep, feels good, man.
Oh, there's
I just really like
better things than
Shrink.
that to take, but yeah. Ysera is the dream, man.
Yeah, you know what hurts though is when, somebody plays Ysera and you just play Vol'jin and you just, I don't know, Wild Pyro, Power Shield or something ridiculous. Vol'jin is pretty funny against Ysera. But you don't see that much of Vol'jin anymore. I think it's pretty much gone.
I wish we could see the discoveries here. That would be pretty cool.
Last time we
going
could.
with piloted Sky Golem though.
Yeah, that's got to be probably one of the highest value cards you could get out of that Curator, especially in this type of matchup. Maybe Tyrion would be good if you were a Paladin. It'd be pretty sick.
StrifeCro goes for the snipe on the shielded mini bot there. Sylvanas comes through again. Sylvanas is a little bit more dangerous with equality. It kind of amplifies a lot of the potential options. So I'd be surprised if Sylvanas does not end up coming down on this turn.
Yeah, because the thing is, the other cards that he has are way too reactive. You've got Healbot for heals. I mean, that's great and all, but it doesn't really put a threat on the board. Aldor doesn't really negate much, and Sylvanas is just like at this point you're playing it as a 5/5. As boring as it is, you'd play a 6-mana 5/5 that does nothing. So you'll probably play Sylvanas.
Yeah, I think you have to. It opens up so many possibilities, and in terms of active plays, there's nothing There's nothing better.
Unless you're trying to get the quartermaster value, then you go heal bot, hero power, bait, more removal if there's any, like a light bomb, and then I don't know.
Well, light bomb is pretty good here. I just don't know if you're gonna choose to pull the trigger. StrifeCro has been pretty reserved with a light bomb so far. Makes me think he probably doesn't have two. Priest is always that class where you want to fit in more cards than you can. So I wouldn't be too surprised to learn if this is the only remaining board clear in the deck.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I think StrifeCro has a decent turn for Thought Steal here, just because Light Bomb is his insurance against disasters. The only thing that could make it bad is something like Loatheb, but that's a really long shot against mid-range Paladin. I feel like the Light Bomb is going to be coming out here.
Alright. Well, you'd be right. Light Bomb does come out. Sylvanas gets no value there. You have to keep in mind that the Shrinkmeister still had the spell damage, even though he had only one attack. He used to be balanced. And the Peacekeeper does not peacekeep away the does not keep the peace with the spell damage.
Yeah, spell damage still goes
Very
through. Now,
clever
this is
board
an
clear
interesting... yeah, I mean, it's right before the Quartermaster. So that was pretty good for StrifeCro. Like, this is kind of why I thought Trump would play the heal bot last turn, because he still baits the Light Bomb, but he keeps Sylvanas alive. But he decided to use it, and now he's got a Quartermaster again as a winning condition. He has Muster left, Justicar, True Heart, a very good card against Priest when you've already seen so much AoE.
Okay, well, StrifeCro didn't look too happy about that one. Ended up going with a Blood Mage. Yeah, that's probably one of the worst things that the Museum Curator can produce. It's just a 2-mana redraw.
Yeah, with 2 Novas gone as well, right?
And the Light Bomb. Sometimes the spell... I mean, even in this game, the spell damage on the Light Bomb was a relevant factor to it. Allowed him to fully clear the board.
Well, Trump will get to kill the Death Lord. And right now... Alright, I feel like this is the moment where Trump can come back. It looks like the Priest is finally out of constant board clears. And Trump picked up a Murloc Knight to spawn more and more minions.
He's got the Peacekeep on the...
Exactly.
On the Sky Golem.
He's got a lot of good tools here, but StrifeCro could pick up one of the possible 2 Consecrate. Ouch, that hurts. Ouch.
Battle Cry denied. No more double dudes this game.
Thought Steal Consecration is very likely here. Very likely, but it's not. Wait.
Keeper's not
Keeper
bad.
hold him on the Sky Golem and trade it away into the Justicar.
6-attack minion.
Oh no.
And even the Muster is very good. He can clear both of the 3/1 minions left on the board.
That is so disheartening if you're Trump.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, it
that's
has
a
to be,
very,
right?
very powerful Thought Steal. I think the combination of those 2 cards ends up being his most powerful play here. And, I mean, depending on what comes out of this piloted Sky Golem, StrifeCro might actually be ahead once again this game.
What would be the absolute best out of this?
Probably a Shredder. Oh! Okay.
Well, that's
pretty good, too.
Yeah, it's kind of a Death Lord. It tanks everything on board for now. Zombie Chow. Trump with the top decks to do nothing again. Charge.
Alright. Yeah, and a Murkite would be good. Another Murloc Knight would be good as well. Okay, well, there's the charge. It's, that's pretty good.
Yeah, as it turns out, Murkai is a pretty good Murloc. Wait, do you ever... No, you don't. No, you don't.
You're going to say equality. It's good that you did.
Yeah, of course, but it's not. It doesn't make any sense at all. I was like, would that ever be justified?
It would make sense if StrifeCro had it.
Well, Trump, he has decent trades. It's just that he's going to have to clean up those 1/1s at some point. And that's going to hurt. So he's going to just smork until...
Well, here's the thing, right? Like,
traded away.
He knows StrifeCro has played 2 Holy Novas and a Light Bomb, and he's playing some weird deck that he has a good chance that there's no other board clear. He thought stole them, but he played both cards and they weren't Consecrate. So He really should just be trading as greedily as possible. Greedily?
Greedily, yeah, that's a word.
Greedily.
It is. Greedily. It's like a greetings from Italy. Wow. Okay, so
Yeah, right.
that's steal on the Murloc Knight into heal something, and then you win the game.
Most likely, we have to keep in mind that the old Murkai would be buffed, so you have to kill that off beforehand. Like you have to keep Rebuldaman into the old Murkai and then take the Murloc Knight.
Yeah. Yeah, you do get a decent trade afterwards with the other Silverhand recruit. I mean, he does have to kill the Murkai first, though. Unless he uses his 1/1s in his weapon to kill it, depending on... Nope.
No, this seems good.
Good enough. Good enough.
Test your RNG. No, not quite as good as Trump's.
Still pretty good, though.
Still pretty good indeed. StrifeCro is winning by a lot right now.
Yeah, it's
That
not
is-
even
that
close.
is the play
Trump
he needed.
has equality into Juggler, Zombie Chow, Hero Power. Could clean up some of the board, but I feel like that maybe isn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can kill 2 minions first. So you kill the small Murloc, you kill the Shrink, and then you just hope that everything from the Juggler lands where you need it. Because your guys are on one
Yeah.
anyway, right?
Yeah, I guess you could do that. That is a
Guys.
pretty high risk play, though. That's 4 targets, and you get 2 juggles. And if one doesn't land on the Murloc Knight, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to keep the Aldor in case the knives don't go where he wants them. So I was thinking you just use the Aldor to kill the 1/1 Murloc. Or the 1/2 rather. But yeah, he has to keep the Aldor just to make sure that the Murloc Knight does not spawn any more value past this point.
Mm-hmm. And right now, it seems like Trump's just out of steam. We haven't seen a lay on hands in the stack, but he needs some kind of like extremely weighted card. Or
Murloc
some
Knight
kind
for
of card
Murloc
draw.
Knight.
I think another Murloc Knight is due here.
I mean, it's not even enough is the sad part. But, you know, it would be a good first step. Dr. Boom would also be pretty sweet. I mean, you haven't... we don't see in StrifeCro's hand, you know, Shadow or Death, Second Light Bomb, Entomb.
Have we
Don't
seen
see
any
those
of
yet.
that? Like, I don't think
Nope.
I've seen Shadow or Death or Entomb.
Oh!
Wow, there is lay on hands.
That is what Trump needed this turn. No question. Doesn't
Another
mean he
keeper
wins,
ruled one.
but he's in the game still, at least.
Map? Map? No, no. Should you steal a zombie chow? I don't know if you do.
And maybe you do if you have another Arcanine and you find a way to pop it. But we saw one Arcanine. There might be a second, but with the amount of AoE, I don't know. Like, you have to make room for Elise. What do you cut? Late game legendaries is my assumption.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't really seen many of those out of StrifeCro's deck. I don't even think we've seen a Dr. Boom, honestly.
No, I don't think we've seen that either.
Trump's only got 9 cards, though. He's sure to have some big minions of his own. Paladin can't really rely on the minions of others. So...
Is that shots fired
it's
at
gotta
the
be soon.
priest?
Well, that's how Priest just works.
Yeah.
Someone injured?
Like, I have cars, but I don't like them. Oh.
Yeah, he's gonna
So
heal
he-
first because
he's
he's
trying to
healing
get
that
the-
minion anyway, and
Yeah.
he's healing that minion anyway. So you might as well heal first. Maybe it changes your play.
The map!
The map is pretty good there. Oh, that seems like a bit of a weird trade. I think I'd leave the zombie chow up, just so Elise doesn't die to a true sliver hit. Looks like
You
Elise
have
gonna die to a
Harrison
true
Jones,
sliver
right?
hit though.
Yeah, she doesn't matter, though. She did put the map in your deck. Like, what's the point of her anymore?
Yeah.
She's like a bad refreshment vendor. Well,
Alright, well, I believe we're going to see a monkey come off this map. It's basically a sure thing, even though it's statistically only like 8%.
no, it's 100%. It's 100%.
Oh, damn. That's a funny looking monkey.
Well, it's still possible, but it's not going to be this turn since the monkey is 4 mana. Which, if I recall correctly, the monkey was 3 when it was spoiled, right? It was like 2 for the map and 3 for the monkey. Yeah, I remember spoilers showing it at 3, and then I'm playing it, and it's not.
I'm not exactly sure about that, but sounds like a possibility. StrifeCro has the option to just power draw this this monkey out of his deck.
Does he need it though, right? Like, it's mostly a win more card, but I really want to see some cool legendaries. Entomb, okay. Is there ever was a hope for Trump to find a Tyrion and maybe get out of this? Yeah.
Consecrate, not quite. Maybe with some spell damage involved.
I mean, you can play all your cards besides Consec. If you have another equality, that's another way for you to clear the board up, maybe. No! No map.
I guess that means there is no other equality. So. And Elise's map does not find the monkey this time. Kind of what I expect from that card. So it seems that StrifeCro is pretty dominant here. He has the Druid left. The Druid probably has all bad matchups, but it is still a class. I mean, we see how popular it is in the tournament. We know it's popular because even in the bad sense, it can often just steal a game. And StrifeCro has ample opportunity to do that. Even though he has bad matchups ahead of him, it's very difficult to not root for StrifeCro in this stage.
Yeah, the Trump is going to try to mech shaman, the aggro shaman immediately. It's supposed to be a really good matchup if the Druid doesn't ramp, right? Like, you're supposed to just be able to snowball, but what you're looking for is exactly what you don't have in hand right now. Like, you're looking for the Trog on curve to make it a mana worm, play it like Tempo Mage. You're looking for Totem Golem. Druids just can't handle that card at all. And Trump being on the coin also means that he could just find Totem Golem without the Trog and still run away with the early game.
Well, should be a fun game here from what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think Trump's got... Like, Trump with the Shamans should have a crazy edge. He still hasn't mulliganed, but...
that hand...
No mulligan's been done yet, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I think you'd keep like a Rock Biter. I haven't really played this deck with Lava Shocks involved.
Wait, did he keep this?
I think he mulliganed every single card.
Yes, I hope so. Yeah. Okay, yes, he did. Goodness, I got scared. Well, he did add the Elemental Destruction. Really, we said he did not, like, the presence of the card did not correlate with success. But this may be a matchup where it does. In this matchup, I feel like it has...
It can help. Yeah, absolutely. But StrifeCro really has an outstanding hand. What do you think of Wild Growth and then Innervate Hero Power? You stop the bleeding of the damage.
I actually like that, but I would go with Shredder if I were to do this, because I can Wild Growth and maybe Living Roots on turn 3. He's making exactly that play. Because I was going to say, like, you can always just get the Shredder out, but if Earth Shock hits, I guess you're in a really bad spot, so your play is a lot safer. Like, that line of play is...
Yeah. Oh, look at that, Earth Shock. Interesting.
Yeah, good thing he did not follow... The
Earth Shock is still going to be very good here, though. Unfortunately for StrifeCro.
Yeah, I mean, it does remove one wolf, and it means you do lose one wolf. That is.
I mean, just go face. You just go face. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, the worst case scenario is what, like
double Wrath.
That's it. Yeah, you're right.
Which is not bad. Like, fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Slows him down.
Gotta go face, man. That's how you play this deck. You're gonna be an expert at the end of this. You can, like, get rank 1 Legend of this deck yourself.
I feel like there's an Elegiggle lying in your comment. Living Roots would keep the growth to kill a wolf. That seems like pretty good value, but now that means a Trump. Oh, well. Okay. Never mind.
Well, the
Trump has a
Trump
golem, but you're feeding it.
Yeah, the problem that Trump has is he really wants to play the Doomhammer next turn, but if he does that, he can't play anything else right now. So, yeah.
Well, Emperor Thorsten's. Oh, well, speaking of feeding cards, that's a full board clear for StrifeCro with that second keeper.
It is, but is it good enough? I guess it's good enough. Turn 6.
I mean, you do kill everything, so you
Yeah,
I mean,
you get
Stoneclaw
to
would
keep your
have
keeper.
annoyed you a bit. I don't foresee an elemental destruction until next turn, so Trump's just gonna hero power pass.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Such aggression.
I
Look
mean,
at that.
he is at 30, and the Druid has like no pressure at all. You can Lightning Bolt the 2/4. I think you do Lightning Bolt the 2/4. That is
I
probably
would
the best
crackle
totem.
face. I would crackle face all day if I'm gonna be going
Oh,
for
really?
that. Yeah, roll high and then
Nope.
well. Oh, that hurts.
It's not how we roll around here.
We roll low.
We roll low.
And yeah, Trump's gonna just Doomhammer, hope he never runs into a taunt, just hope he top decks another Rockbiter, deals the most damage you can ever find.
Well, Doomhammer's okay. It overloads you for 2, but it's still good enough to play Elemental Destruction and or Lightning Bolt or Rockbiter next turn.
Yeah, exactly, because you can still clear the board up. I mean, you'd technically still be dead to a combo if Thorsten hit even one piece of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Trump, with the miss on Crackle, has to commit even more damage than he
Savage
might
Roar? Nope.
with.
Can he still draw it? No, he can't.
He does have 15 damage, but that's not lethal. I think there's a really good chance that Trump wins here, honestly.
There is, but StrifeCro can draw cards that stop that from happening. Like if he gets a Loathip here. Oh, wow. Savage Roar 1 off.
Guide my lands.
So close.
So close, but it does look like Trump is going to take this. That Elemental Destruction is finally going to pay off big here.
Well, he does have 10. He has 13 damage on board. He's looking for 3 more off the top. Like, that's it. 3 more off the top and he wins.
Nope.
Wow. Well, I think that's going to call for a destruction then. Unless... No, there's no way you can win because you're going to be overloaded. I mean, you'd have to roll spell damage and then hit Lava Shock properly. It's
Well, you still
surefire
Lava
way
Shock
to
here.
lose.
The Lava Shock lets you play a Totem Golem.
Yeah. I mean, let's pray that he doesn't attack with Thorsten with his face. Let us pray. It is pointless. Well, StrifeCro could still pick up an Ancient of Lore to heal up. Maybe feel a bit safe.
Oh, you could pick up
Look
Savage Roar and win the game.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Why not?
Oh.
Could it have been worse? I don't think it could have.
No. That is the deadest of dead cards.
More dead than StrifeCro is?
Yeah, just as much. StrifeCro has 0% chance to win this game. There's literally nothing he can do right now.
Trump could fall
he has
asleep.
15 damage, but that's 3 short of victory, and he's 100% dead next turn. Even if he kills a 3/4 minion.
What to do?
Yep. Kills
Yeah, it
a
looks like
3/4 minion.
StrifeCro just knows he's dead, but he's trying to figure out, if I kill his 3/4, how much damage am I pushing to face, right? Like, he knows that there's no way he's going to win immediately. And if he doesn't commit Savage War to face, I think he can't win at all. If he makes trades, that is. Unless he's hoping that Wild Growth top decks and a swipe, Druid Claw. So he may play it a bit defensively, but pushing looks pretty
I
tempting.
kind of like the offensive play. You get 2
Yeah,
draws
there's nothing
next turn,
else.
4 damage.
Exactly. And you have like every 4 damage card left in your deck.
Did he miss an attack there?
I
Yeah, I think he missed.
feel like he did. He did miss one, I think, right?
Doesn't really matter though.
Strump would have been otherwise on 3 health. Did he disconnect?
I'm not sure, but I also don't believe it matters at all.
Yeah, he was dead anyway.
Yeah, he was 100% dead even before he made the motions of his final turn. And that puts Trump finally on the board. Trump is at 1 point, StrifeCro with 2. And this is a lot closer than it was originally. The Druid doesn't seem to have a great matchup. And StrifeCro is not getting particularly lucky with the Druid either. So still a little bit of a climb. I think the Paladin does quite well against the Druid. Have we seen the Warlock? I don't believe we have seen the Warlock.
No, we haven't yet. It still leaves. It's like the big question mark here because there's some Warlock decks that I think Druid will struggle against more than others.
Yeah.
Like Handlock, for instance, if Trump brought that, I think StrifeCro would be a little bit happier depending on how the draws line up than he would be if he saw something like Mallylock, which, if he saw Mallylock, that is, he would be a little happier than if he saw big lines of taunts coming from Handlock. Because even though, yes, Mallylock can start tempoing, they don't run nearly as many taunts, which means Druids just burst you down and eventually combo you, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Zoo is extremely powerful against Combo Druid, so that's probably one of the worst case scenarios. And probably one of Trump's all-time favorite decks is Zoolock.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him bring it out. One of the things is that Druid did improve a bit with Aspirant a while back, but it's still very favored because Zoo didn't lose anything. In fact, with the Peddler, if anything, it got more powerful, which makes the whole ordeal as a Druid player even more messy when you're trying to just win on... Oh, well, speaking of the devil, yep, looks like it's going to be Zoo from Trump with the Peddler.
All right. Peddler's been a very exciting card. It's one of those cards that just looked kind of lackluster, but again, this is one of those things that was down to lack of information. Most 1-drops aren't so great, but most Warlock 1-drops are outstanding, and the Discover mechanic does have a 400% occurrence boost for class cards. So, the Dark Peddler pulling like a 4 damage lethal finisher is really quite likely. And that's what's made the card, and Zoolock as a whole quite exciting since League of Explorers release.
Yeah, it's already bad enough that it can pull, Soulfire PO, but there's Abusive Sergeant, you can get Coil as an, emergency. Sometimes you even pick up, like you already have a PO, and you need just something to slap it on. You find a Stone Tusk Boar, and then you just slap it on it to get 5 damage. Like, there's so many little plays to make with it. Yeah, it's a ridiculous thing, but like that Peddler thing is just the most annoying uncertainty when you're playing up against them, especially when they take their time, right? So you're even more unsure as to what they've landed on.
All right, well, StrifeCro has 1 piece of ramp, and Trump
has 17 pieces of trouble in hand.
Yeah. It is a little bit tricky here. You normally want to innervate out a Shredder, but the Shredder dies to the Flame Imp, which you can kill with the Wrath. But if you Wrath, do you really want to innervate a Shredder on turn 3? It's just, oh man, it's just so feels bad.
Yeah, the only question you have to ask yourself in that spot as StrifeCro is, if my Innervate were a coin in my deck, would I use it? That's the only way to get through it without your eyes out. Oh,
perfect.
Goodness. Yeah, that's hard.
Trump is threatening an unbelievable amount of damage considering he had no board before this turn. With the Doggy and the Abusive Sergeant, he is actually threatening, how much damage is that? 11.
Yeah, but think about StrifeCro pulling off a Innervate Force of Nature next turn, because Definitive Argus can't come out. So if you want to use Savage Roar here, that means you're hoping to use Innervate on the Ancient of Lore instead of using it for the Force. But you have the option of going for that.
We basically traded Savage Roar for the Battle Cry of a Dark Peddler.
Please don't put it like that, Strip. I'm dying here.
And now we're going to trade Force of Nature with Innervate for the Dark Peddler body plus another Dark Peddler body. And if we're lucky, perhaps another Dark Peddler battle cry. Right? So 2 Dark Peddlers trading for Innervate combo is ridiculous. It's just totally ridiculous.
Well, I mean, at this stage, StrifeCro is looking for a swipe. I think at this stage you play the Shredder just because it trades so well with possibly a 2-for-1, 3-for-1 if the minions don't get buffed up. And there's a chance that you can start getting the good cards on 5. You play the Ancient of Lore, 6, Force of Nature. You might be about at 10 health by that stage, but if you're not...
I think actually the positioning may have been improved if the 2-1 was in the middle. Because you have the doggy next turn, that's the creature you most likely want to sacrifice if you need 3 damage. But it doesn't end up actually making a difference here.
Yeah, I mean, Trump picks up another way to put down threats.
I think you normally want to use a swipe over a Force of Nature, so I think it'd be reasonable to play completely into swipe and do a Void Caller, Direwolf, Abusive Sergeant even.
Yeah, what I like about this from Trump is, the 2-2 here, if
there's a swipe, that would have been punished.
Like, if Druid of the Claw comes down, you just play Dark Iron Dwarf Abusive, and you can just kill it right away. And then, yes, you are vulnerable to swipe, but you've taken out a 4-6 in the process, and you're always keeping the initiative on your side.
Mm-hmm. Well, as it stands, the answers... no, the Shredder's way better.
No, not this turn. Goodness, no.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's going to do a lot of work, no matter what.
Typically it's going to, yeah. You're just looking for 3 here, that's really the thing. Oh, gets 4, that's a bonus.
Oh, hello. That's a lot of Battlecry denial with a swipe coming up. That basically locks out everything from Trump, because if you swipe the...
Oh, that's right.
This is insane. You can't play Doomguard on curve, you can't even play Dark Iron Dwarves, Defenders of Argus.
Well, for the same reason, StrifeCro can't play a Darnassus, but that is far less important. Of course, we also see that the Ancient of Lores in StrifeCro's hand are unaffected as they are choose mechanics. Choose mechanics being a bit OP in this scenario.
Yeah, I didn't think it would ever come into I guess, relevance in a competitive tournament. But based on this, looks like StrifeCro is getting all the value in the world from this. Trump might have to owl this. No way.
Well, if you owl that, you can only play the creeper, so that kind of sucks still.
Might as well play the creeper on it. And look at that! More battle cries! Oh, this is hilarious. And how
Turn
is
6
that?
creeper. Holy cow. Oh, look at that. It's another choice.
Another way to start punishing the existence of Nerebar Weblord for Trump. So basically, you protect the Nerebar Weblord, you win the game. Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, that's why StrifeCro has not played the Ancient of Lore yet, because it is actually close. Like, it's close to Druid of the Claw to protect a Nerebar Weblord compared to a turn 7 Ancient of Lore. Like, it's so crazy.
But I think you get a little bit punished by Doomguard if you do that, because it is playable on 7, even with Nerebar, and then you lose the Druid of the Claw, but... what a funny game so far, honestly. I mean, what is this? What is even going on? You have to juggle abusive?
I don't know.
Is that really it? You have to go for the third... I mean, if it hits the Ancient of Lore, it does nothing. Unless the creeper starts throwing knives in the right places.
Wait. You can owl the Nerebar and play the abusive afterwards on the spider.
Trump is going to go for getting a big minion, a 4/4 that spawns 2 little 1/1s, but that means the Nerebar does not get removed from the board.
Well, I don't think he might absorb some juggles. Oh yeah, perfect juggle absorption.
Nice job, Nerebar. I'll get out the way. Wow, I can't believe this 1/4. I cannot believe this.
StrifeCro is crushing Trump on the back of a shreddered Nerebar Weblord.
Yeah, it looked really grim for StrifeCro too. If you look at the way the game was developing, he kept giving the initiative back to Trump. But I guess, Explosive Sheep would have been a problem, but much less than Nerebar. Like, this is just... Even Mana Wraith was bad for StrifeCro. Just Nerebar.
StrifeCro's like, how do we keep this guy alive here?
Okay, so I kill a Juggler with a 5/5. I play the Druid of the Claw. I don't even hate that, honestly. But I think he might just double kill the Juggler, lose their Weblord, play Sylvanas, and go from there.
Oh, he goes for Sylvanas. I would think the Drew of the Claw and Taunt would be pretty nice, but I guess he's looking for a little bit more burst in his hand if he needs it. So can't fault it. Looks good.
Yeah, I mean, if you go face, you are threatening lethal. Trump might start being like playing scared, but if you do that, then he is able to trade into your Sylvanas very effectively.
Oh, he's able to trade into Sylvanas very effectively anyway. He has the 5 damage with the silence for Sylvanas, and he has the 1 damage for the remaining Ancient Allure. Trump actually has the perfect answer here. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's exactly filling out. I mean, the only thing is it's vulnerable to swipe, but you've already seen one, so how worried are you about it? You really can't afford even thinking that it's an issue.
Mm-hmm. StrifeCro's like, oh man, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, nobody would have.
Yeah.
Well, that's a scare card if I've ever seen one. If you're Trump and you see the Emperor fall down, it's gonna be a bit scary. But
I kind of think that the Emperor is not really good enough right now.
you Ancient and
yeah,
maybe?
I think you Ancient and probably play the Darnassus Aspirant.
Yeah, you could make it. You could hero power down.
I mean, you could get the other Innervate and the other Swipe. That'd be pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, it would be pretty good. Pretty good, I think.
Above average.
I mean, Drake isn't good enough because you're slightly off curve to make that play. Alright, he's going to try to just curve in and remove minions. He's playing for tempo still. He's seen, I think, 1 Abusive, 1 Dark Iron. He's not assuming there's going to be another one of those. So if something goes here that
there is another one of those.
4/6.
Oh, there it is.
That's rough.
That is rough, but Trump has to give up a minion to play the Power Overwhelming. I think that's a reasonable trade though. You probably Power Overwhelming the Owl, kill the Drew of the Claw, Dark Iron kills the 2/3 and Lotheb.
Yeah, look at that follow-up too on the next turn. The amount of damage you're packing is pretty obscene. I mean, that might make you reconsider the Dark Iron trade just because you picked up that Doomguard.
Denying the minion is always so valuable with these days with so many buffs. Even Druid doesn't have that many, you want to deny it. StrifeCro goes for the draw.
He needs to find... That's gonna be really handy next turn.
Well, Trump does not have lethal yet, but well...
StrifeCro might, right?
An abusive... Oh, I think abusive is still 1 off. Oh, that sucks.
That's kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, I mean, he's able to buff up his minions now and go for Doomguard. StrifeCro without Definitive Argus had the option of going for a Force of Nature swipe for 10, assuming Trump went very greedy with the offense. So I think Trump still has a really good play with Defender Doomguard. It's hard to...
Yeah, it's hard to top
mess
that.
it up. Yeah.
It's true. Okay, StrifeCro is going to be able to actually clear here, I believe, though.
Depends what Trump does with his minions and how he directs them.
I think the Doomguard has to kill. No, the Doomguard has to kill the 5/5. If you go full offense, you're just setting yourself up for a disaster because with this you have lethal anyway. If your opponent really had combo, he's going to have to waste it here to not die.
Keeper of the Grove? Nope. So swipe Force of Nature does kill Lotheb, the Dark Iron, and also the Doomguard. I think that's a very reasonable play, considering you've just seen the other Doomguard go away.
Yeah.
And if he taps, you pick up a Savage Roar and win.
Yeah, I think I like...
Earlier than you thought.
Well, no, you have to swipe Force of Nature. The Savage Roar will not be lethal.
Oh, that's right.
That would have been both Force of Nature.
Wait, could you just play... No, Azure Drake's nothing without Emperor.
If StrifeCro uses Force of Nature here, he has no more combo left in the deck. I think the one thing to consider maybe is an Azure Drake swipe. Can you consider that, or are you dead?
Yeah, I did, but I think they're like the...
Yeah, you just die.
You just die right away, unless you pick up an Innervate off the top from the Drake and then get to Wrath on top. But it's way too specific. So we're going to see a Wrath plus Force of Nature leaving 7 on board. You know, StrifeCro is quite the courageous man. He's keeping the swipe for the Drake. He's thinking, if I can live this turn, I can live any turn. And he's actually pretty right, because PO is the only thing left, I think, with the other defender that
I think
wins.
abusive. Oh, that's a bad card.
Yeah.
Here.
Look at that
Have
swipe.
lethal.
Does it even save him?
7. Yeah, swipe
Oh.
does save him. Yeah, swipe hero power. Oh no, he can't hero power.
The creeper, yeah, that's the problem. Is if you go Azure Drake swipe, like the creeper gets popped by it, and then you're putting the damage on board that kills you. I feel like if Trump decides to go all in on the Flame Imp, he's giving his opponent the only chance to win, which is something like Swipe, Drew the Claw.
I think that's it. I think that's it. Just starts and ends there.
Yeah, it starts and really.
No.
Like Swipe, Savage Roar, something ridiculous, or
no. I think the other one is Living Roots Keeper Swipe.
Good call. There we go. See, another bit of damage.
I think it's the only other one.
Yeah, Trump. Can you really get greedy with that Flame Imp? Because I mean, if Druid of the Claw comes in taunt mode and Swipe hits, you're still in a bad spot. But you can't play that Flame Imp. It's suicide.
BGH. All right. Well, currently it looks like StrifeCro's gonna go down here.
Wait.
If he does swipe hero power, it's not enough. If he does Azure Drake swipe, he needs to get an Innervate out of it. But if you do the
wait, he could get he doesn't even need Innervate. He needs Living Roots or Innervate.
Okay.
Right? Wait. He does have to make that play, though.
Yeah.
There's no question. That's the only play. Yeah, Living Roots again.
What could the Wild Growth draw that would be significant? I don't think there is anything.
No, I don't think so either. Let's see if Living Roots comes out.
Oh, it does!
Oh!
Full clear.
Perfect outcome here for StrifeCro. Needs to pop the Creeper first, not mess up the ordering, and that's a full clear for StrifeCro, which means basically Trump has to top deck 3 damage from hand, or 2 damage that is, which is, what is it? Nothing. I mean, maybe he runs a Horse Rider in that deck? That's about it, right?
Yeah.
I think
he's played both Peddlers. He's exhausted both Dude Guards. He's only played one of them. Juggler. Tap Juggler, and then 1 out of 4 is lethal.
I like that. I like that play. I mean, you could get the Fin of Argus too to taunt up the Dark Iron, which is also pretty good because then the Drake doesn't kill it on its own, and Savage Roar needs to be played in conjunction with it. Trump is anguishing over the decision, but I think it's almost made for him, right?
No, here's the thing: if you tap and get a smaller minion than Flame Imp, you can't play Flame Imp and you threw lethal. That's the issue.
Well, if you play Flame Imp, okay, I see.
If you play Flame Imp, you can't tap.
And you can't tap, yeah. It's one or the other. Well, he's still alive, actually, based on what we've seen in StrifeCro's hand, but there's Keeper of the Grove in that deck. Another Living Roots.
Oh, there's Drew the Claw. That's going to do
seal it. I think half this deck was lethal at this stage with the Savage Roar. There was one left.
Draw, it was very likely indeed.
Wow. StrifeCro nailing the series from, I guess, the brink of despair. It was pretty close, honestly. I thought Trump was getting this.
It was pretty close. StrifeCro's early dominant lead really helped him there. The Druid obviously struggled to pull a win, which we kind of imagined. It took a little bit of good luck, but it took a lot of luck. I mean, that game was
a lot of luck.
RNG,
Yeah. I mean, that never our web lord.
Okay. Yeah. But in the end, StrifeCro does take the match over Trump, and we are at the last game. We are going to take a little bit of a break before that, but it is going to be Cypher versus StrifeCro for the spot in the top 6 for the live StarLadder I-League tournament in January, and that's where the big money is. That's where that's where the attention is.
The money is.
Yeah,
people will care about who wins that event, so you want to be at least be there, right?
Yep. And it's going to be one of those players. Don't miss it. We will only be a few minutes while the players get set up. So tune in then, and we'll see you guys shortly.